and welcome. I'm Melinda Kinwami. Tonight, All Progressive Congress local government primary election in Lagos State turns violent as delegates protest imposition of candidates. The acting president, Professor Yemi Osinbajo, joins other world leaders to address the Europe migrant crisis at the G7 summit in Italy. We turn our attention today to the economy as we continue our review of the Buhari administration's scorecard in 2 years. Egypt continues airstrikes in Libya following the killings of 23 Coptic Christians in a bus attack yesterday.
And on business news tonight, CBN asks customers to seek clarifications from banks over questionable charges in transactions.
On sports news tonight, African Church Primary School from Ogun State emerged champions of Season 9 of Channel's Kids Cup after beating Burhanuddin Primary School from Kwara State 6-5 via penalties.
Nigeria's acting president, Professor Yemi Osinbajo, has joined other African leaders at the G7 summit in Italy. The summit is turning its attention to Africa as the group's leaders meet with their counterparts from the continent to talk about the migrant crisis. Other African representatives at the event are Tunisia, Kenya, Ethiopia and Niger. The choice of Sicily is to draw attention to the millions of migrants who risk their lives daily trying to get to Europe. G7, an elite club of some of the world's largest economies, comprises leaders from Britain, Canada, France, Germany, Italy and Japan. Meanwhile, the acting president has approved the appointment of new heads of some federal government agencies and commissions. Amongst them are Mr. Ali Usman and Funsho Doherty, who have been appointed as chairman and director general of the National Pension Commission. Diko Abdurrahman and Olukayode Piton, appointed as chairman, governing board and managing director of the board of the Bank of Industry. And Mr. Emeka Wangpa has been appointed as the chairman, governing board of the Consumer Protection Council. Also appointed are 4 executive commissioners for the National Pension Commission. According to a statement by the Director of Press and the Office of the Secretary to the Government of the Federation, Mr. Chris Okeke, all the appointments are with immediate effect except those of the National Pension Commission, which are subject to confirmation by the Senate. Today has been observed as Children's Day in Nigeria. This year's event coincides with the 91st global celebration of the rights and well-being of children. Various activities were held in different parts of the country, focusing on the need for collective action against child abuse. This report captures the Children's Day celebration in some states.
This year's Children's Day in Nigeria falls on a Saturday, and so participation at various celebration centers was quite encouraging. In Osun State Southwest, a parade is held in Oluwo local government area. The Oluwo of Iwo town, Oba Abdulrasheed Akanbi, implores leaders to be more determined against all forms of child abuse.
We are the only race in the world that enslave his own children. The Chinese never did. The white people never did. The Arabs never did. It is only the black race. We have to revisit the past and make things better.
In the South-South region, Cross River State to be precise, the Children's Day celebration holds at the UJS Swene Stadium in Calabar, the state capital. Highlighting the plight of Bakassi IDPs, the State Commissioner for Women Affairs, Stella Ode, uses the occasion to remind governments at all levels on the need of vulnerable children in the society.
Children's rights are human rights. They have to look into this issue to see what they can do about the Bakassi IDPs. For us in Cross River State, our government is equally doing a lot, but I know the government cannot do it all by itself, so we are calling on the federal government to come and collaborate with our state.
And And in the neighboring state of Akwa Ibom, the Children's Day March Past takes place at the Oluwo Township Stadium. Governor Udom Emmanuel assures that his administration will continue to protect the rights of children residing in the state.
Every child in Akwa Ibom is entitled to the right to free, compulsory, and universal primary education, junior secondary education, senior secondary education, the right to survival and development.
In Plateau State, North Central Nigeria, Children's Day celebration was held for the first time in over 5 years due to the violence that held sway in the state. But on this occasion, the Ruwan Township Stadium placed host to primary school pupils and secondary students across the state.
And that is a salute to Excellency. Everyone has this picture now. There will be first tours. See top academic tours. Nursery schools category.
In the northeast state of Yobe, a mock session is held at the hallowed chambers of the State House of Assembly to support the protection of the rights of children in the state.
Protection of the child in Yobe State in areas of his education, health, justice, and social service, and thereby reducing the level of child hawking, street begging, exploitation and abuse, prostitution, denial of access of girl child education, access to health and justice.
On this year's Children's Day, the various state governments have renewed their commitment to the protection of the rights of the child. It's the expectation of these children that going forward, issues that affect them will no longer be taken for granted by relevant authorities.
To politics now, some delegates of the All Progressive Congress threw caution to the wind during the local government primary elections in Lagos in what they described as an attempt to impose candidates on them. Trouble started after 18 candidates were returned unopposed and a voice vote was called to choose the remaining candidates for the council poll, which is on July the 22nd. Our political correspondent, Sheon Okimaloye, tells us more.
This is the Teslim Balogun Stadium in Surulere, the heart of Lagos. On the outside of the stadium, roads leading here are all blocked. But on the inside, it is serene and all looks set for the Lagos State All Progressive Congress local council primaries. For an event slated to commence at about 8 a.m., delegates were only trickling in at about 1 p.m. Some took the idle time to say their prayers. In the stands, uneasiness is palpable. Soon, the primaries get underway, but that's around 3 p.m., about 8 hours behind the scheduled time. Obviously, the delegates are in high spirit. Like a bus conductor, this man even directs his fellow delegates to their positions. It appears there is an arrangement by the leadership of the party to give 18 candidates who had served as chairman automatic tickets to run again, an opportunity to serve a second term if they win. We sought to know the reason the party is making that decision.
We thought that if they go twice, they'll be able to perform very well.
Is that in the interest of
is in the
party members?
Yes, in the interest of the majority of the party members, especially from their various local governments.
That explanation may suffice for some party faithfuls and delegates who are now looking forward to vote their candidates in the rest of the 38 LGAs and LCDAs. The ballot boxes are all set, and the chairman of the Electoral Committee, Senator Tokunbo Afikiyomi, began to call out the local government areas in what looks like a voice vote. It doesn't look like there will be any voting here. And that unsettles some delegates. The voice voting and what they call consensus candidature is prevailing.
To our surprise, we are yet to agree on a consensus candidate. That is why we came here for proper primary. But what he came here to do this is real imposition.
They started with those people that were supposed to be re-elected for the second time. So having done that, so we expected them to call on those of us who are just who came here for the primaries, so that they will start conducting the primaries. But to our surprise, we saw them mentioning the other person's name as being ratified by the leaders, and I knew they were only using this leader's name to deceive us.
This time around, trouble appears looming. The agitation went on until when it got to a head. And then the center could no longer hold. It's perhaps not the best of sight. What was planned to be a civil democratic election process are turned violent for the APC in Lagos. This is perhaps not what they expected, but the decision of the party leadership is what most of the delegates here have disagreed on. They say they want to vote and they really want to participate in the exercise where candidates for the election will emerge when they cast their ballot right behind me. But some of the delegates have turned it violent and they've destroyed the ballot boxes. The grievances are that there is imposition by some leaders in the party. How APC is going to handle this ahead of the Lagos State local council election, I guess only time will tell. From the Teslim Balogun Stadium in Lagos, Shewa Kimaloye reporting for Channels Television News.
To ensure effective governance in any society, it is imperative to engage the people in talks on how best to achieve government's objectives. And this is the motive behind the decision by the Delta State government to hold town hall meetings across the state. Governor Ifeanyi Okowa told the people of Anyocha North and South that all projects backed upon under his administration will be completed.
For the past few weeks, the Delta State governor has been on a tour to different local government areas of the state, holding town hall meetings with the people on issues affecting their needs as individuals and the community. This time, it's the turn of Anyocha South and Anyocha North local government areas. For Governor Ifeanyi Okowa, this town hall meeting isn't just about discussing government's achievement and challenges, but a forum designed to listen to the people.
Promise the market women, my governor, that you will give us a soft loan, 15 persons per ward, and we have 10 federal wards, which is only 150 persons in Anyocha North as we hold. 100,000 naira with 9% interest, which is very welcome. Please, sir, increase the number.
I've been able to build my own voting house with the service of the parliament, and I've also carried out 4 circles of royal base.
The situation is the same in Ogwashuku, where the governor and his team patiently listens to the people as they raise their concerns and requests. Governor Okowa then promised the people that no project in the state under his watch will be abandoned.
On my honor, we will not abandon the Oluwo road project, neither will we abandon any projects that were started. Thank you. We still on course, and we are constantly working with the contractors. They actually are working far ahead of the monies we are paying them, because we are in recession, economic recession, and we cannot pretend that we have all the money to attend to all these roads.
The governor also used the opportunity to plead with the people on the need to ensure a clean environment to prevent outbreak of diseases in the various communities in Delta State.
In part 2, after the break, we take a look at the economy under the current administration. Plus, cattle breeders in Castilla State begin discussions with repentant rustlers to end animal theft. Join us again.